Welcome. What's up, boo? Come in. Sit down. Make yourself comfortable. Let's burn some sage. So we're open and able to take in whatever message that is coming to you in whatever way you need it for you. Burning sage so we can keep our spirits open. By keeping our spirits open, we're able to receive the information that we're looking for. Yes. Stay open, okay? Stay open, because you asked for this information. That's why you're here. That's how life works. Man. First of all, happy birthday to all my Scorpios out there. It's Scorpio month. It's Scorpio season. It is a great time. It is a great time to reevaluate. We still have Venus in retrograde in Libra, so it's feeling good. The choices that you've been making over the last couple of weeks have probably been feeling now like it's nicer, like it's easier. You understand why you're making the choices that you were making to reevaluate and do some digging up and investigating into things that you were doing beforehand, and if they serviced you now or if they haven't. That's what that Venus in retrograde in Scorpio was about, is really doing that investigative deep dive, digging into it and digging into the dark sides, all the sides that you didn't want to do, all the sides that make you uncomfortable. And now we're back with Venus in retrograde sliding back into Libra, where it's nice. It's, it's finding a nice balance. Now you're putting things on the scale. You see what I'm saying? Now you're putting things on the scale. Now you're like, oh, that was kind of fucked up, but that was kind of okay. That was excellent. Oh, that was really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that going to help me? Is that characteristic? Is that way that I react to certain situations? Was that beneficial? Yeah, no, we're going to take that out. And so this is what this whole situation is about. It actually comes at a really, really great time because, the holidays are here. The New Year's is going to be right around the corner, for different cultures, different times of the year. But here in America, the New Year's is going to be happening soon, and a couple other cultures around the world. So it's a good time to really think and reassess and feel what you needed to feel. And now it's night. It should feel good to weigh what worked for you and what didn't, right? And so with that being said, I want to slide into this thought that I was having about relationships. And I hope you're comfortable, because we're going to be here for just a little bit, just a little second, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to talk this out. We got to think things through. And I was really thinking that, in my mind, I'm quick to say, oh my gosh, I've had successful relationships. I've been in love. I've had a guy treat me really, really good and really well. And all of, I've been successful. I made it last for whatever amount of time that lasted for. And, I learned something out of that situation. Absolutely. You always learn something. Anytime you learn something, it is a success. Okay. So that's very much true. However, let's just refine it. And that's what this Venus in retrograde in Libra is. It's just refining it now. Like, it's really refining everything that you've been thinking about, that you've been putting into I like to call it jambalaya. I feel like everybody has a stew or a jambalaya in every culture. So I want to call it jambalaya or stew, a jambalaya stew to life, or like a twist out. Every twist out is never going to be the same. Every jambalaya is not going to be the same. It doesn't matter, because the energies that are happening right there that you're making the meal with is going to be different than the other time. So that's why sometimes it'll turn out better that way, the first way when you did it. It'll turn out the bomb the first way you did it. You're like, yeah, I love it. But for some reason, the second time you did it, it didn't turn out as bomb, but more people notice it, and therefore they give you more compliments, and they're receiving it because you're thinking that twist out was whack or that stew was whack, but somebody else's vibrations are receiving it in the way that they needed it to be, right? So don't think whatever you're putting out there or whatever lessons you're learning are not worthwhile. Everything is worthwhile. However, little bit older now, okay, honey? We're like at a point where we're paying bills, we're living our own apartments, or we have roommates or whatever the case may be, or we're away at college. We've dated a couple people, 1, 2, 3. I feel like 1 or 2 relationships is enough to kind of give you a good amount of what you need to know and gearing yourself. But how do you know if somebody really fuck with you heavy though? Like, how do you know? How do you really, 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 really know? And I was thinking about it. I was like, how do you know if a person likes you? You know, a lot of times you have conversations with somebody, you be sitting on the phone like, well, he did this or she did that. I feel like that means that he likes me. Like, oh, he must like me a lot. She must like me a lot because you know what? He did this, he did that. When it comes down to astrology and you start implementing that into your life, you'll see that people do certain things because that is just within their nature. Okay, that is just within their nature to do certain things. So just because somebody gives you a gift doesn't make it more or less in their world, okay? It might just be a part of their love language. So everybody speaks a different language. That's another thing, But what I can tell you is one key thing. You can tell how somebody feels about themselves through the way that they treat you. Okay, let me just hold on. Let's think about that. Let's take it back in. What did she say? You can tell how your partner feels about themselves by how they treat you, honey. Okay? And that is all you ever need to know in your relationship. That's all you ever really, truly, 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 truly need to know. That will give you all the evidence that you ever needed. Okay? Because people tend to only react out of two emotions, fear or love, okay? And they both make you do things that fall into the other's pocket, okay? So that's why it's no different. Fear and love are just two sides of the same coin, honey. 2 sides of the same coin. It could play out in a good way or it could play out in a bad way. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and the beginning was, we was out every day and, we was kikiing, we had all this good food and the sex was amazing and he introduced me to all his friends. He introduced me to, his godmother. He introduced me to his cousins. He introduced me on his Instagram, honey. Did he put you on the snap? Yes, honey, of course he put me on the snap. He put me on the gram. That's because he was feeling himself. That's because at that point in time, whoever you were dealing with, how they felt about themselves reflected in everything around them. So again, remember that sun, dipping into astrology a little bit, that sun is your ego, is your identity, is your core. It illuminates. It makes things warm, loving. It makes things feel good. Like, oh, wow, when you're ready to go, it gives you a boost of energy. It makes you energetic. It gets you ready to take over the world. When you have the sun illuminated on you, you just feel unstoppable. Okay, unstoppable. So when that part of the ego is healthy, it's going to reflect in that person's life everywhere. So their work, okay, their love life, their friendships, their family, it's going to reflect in different ways. Okay, and the sun can do a lot of things. It just means maybe paying more attention or illuminating something, but it can also burn you. Okay, it can also blind things. When you're looking in the sun and you're taking a selfie, but you can't see because you can't even open your eyes, and your eyes start watering. Your eyes start watering because the sun is literally so hot that you have to close. You can't even see. That the sun can do that too. The sun can create smoke. Okay, it could create. It's fire. It could create destruction. Sun can do a lot of things. The sun can do a lot of things. So when your partner is in a good mood and it's reflecting on you, because honestly, let's just be real. Let's keep it 100. We're in relationships to feed our egos. We're in relationships to discover more things about ourselves and how we function in this world and how we are a part of this big ass puzzle. There's no other way. Every relationship is self-serving. Everything we do here is self-serving. This video is self-serving because I'm putting it out here so I could connect with other people, so I could have more conversations, so that I can find more people to give me more information, so I can feel connected and stay connected to myself. Do you see how it could just wrap right back around to my self and my ego? And so now my ego, which is Scorpio, my sun is in Scorpio, my moon is in Taurus, and my rising is in Cancer, is I'm illuminating this. I am showing you with all of my might the deep depth, dark side of what we deem a dark side of the relationship, that it is self-serving. It is about the ego. You have to remember this in any relationship that you enter, even in this one on YouTube. This is to feed the ego. But what the issue is that we get lost in the ego. And when we get lost, that's when we burn ourselves and burn others. That's when we blindly walk into situations. That's when we overexpose ourselves to it, stay too long in the sun, and don't go back to the other side to have a nice balance and a nice flow. Okay? That's when we just aimlessly shout everything and not even worry about whatever else is trying to live, because we want to just blare everything on it. So when you're in a relationship and you're with somebody and they are treating you amazing because they feel amazing about themselves, and then all of a sudden you don't understand how they could just flip like that and put hands on you. I've known this person for a year. How could they put hands on me? Like I have been there for them. I have been there every time they were drunk. I have been there every time they had a fight with their parent. I've been there every time that they had a mental breakdown or needed inspiration or creativity. I was there to feed the person. I was there to clothe them. It is a reflection of how they felt about themselves, and they took it out on you. Because relationships are just mirrors. We're just trying to get to know ourselves better at the end of the day. Okay? And then when you have kids, that's just mini mirrors, right? Because you want a better reflection of yourself in this thing that you co-created with that partner. So when you see that your partner is feeling shitty about themselves, i.e. taking it back and projecting it onto you and treating you like shit, that's when the ball is seriously in your court. And that's when you have to make decisions. Because it can only go on for so long that you will be the spiritual, emotional, physical punching bag for somebody beating up on themselves and taking it out on everyone else is what we are taught to do. That's how we were raised. We are not raised to burn sage on a regular and protect our spirits and to have our rituals and do the things that we need to do, whether it's going to the gym, eating a great diet, whatever is great for you as an individual. We don't do those extra things. So when we don't do that and we cheat and we skip and we try to, we cheat at getting to know ourselves. We cheat at getting to know ourselves by looking for somebody else to fill in the void for us, when the work is really here. It's researching, it's diving deep, it's being reflective, it's really sitting back with the choices that you've made and looking at them and having these Venus in retrogrades and understanding, what does worthiness mean now? What does my value mean now? What does beauty mean to me now? You know, what does lust mean? What does love mean? What do those feel like? What do they smell like? What do they sound like? What do they taste like? What do they, everything smell like? What does that mean? It's time to reignite those senses. That's what this time is for, reigniting and realigning and coming back to. So when you're dealing with other people, they are just dealing with themselves outwardly, because it's easier, or it's taught, it was learned, that we handle internal problems externally. So if you're in a relationship and you're in a situation where you see this is happening and this is resonating with you, or you are that person that has turned into that energy source that is now reflecting it onto the people that you care about and that you love around you, it's because you do not feel good about yourself. Your partner does not feel good about themselves. So therefore, if they don't feel good about themselves, if you don't feel good about yourself, then you cannot treat anybody else well. So what do? You go back and you say, you know what? Hold on a second. Because I love you, this is either your partner, or you saying this to your partner, or you being the person to say this to your partner, or even if you're single, it doesn't even matter. This is just like a life thing. You say, you know what? Let me come back to where I am. And this damn near needs to be done on a daily basis. This is why people meditate every single day. That's where that space is. You're creating that space to get back to who you are. Because with all the information that's out here, with all of these resources, which are golden, but they're the gift and the curse, because you have too much, which that's a whole nother conversation. Basically, what I want to say is, let me just keep on going then with my thought. Because we have so many options in life, we're lacking focus and clarity. Without those two, what do you expect to happen? No wonder somebody's over here not giving all of themselves or doing anything 105%, because we're already pulled in 18 different directions of where to go. So when we don't have that discipline to come back to self, which is what these things, these rituals and these talks are about, journaling, going to the gym or stretching in the morning or taking a cup of tea and not listening to anything else, or just being alone with yourself, that's what's necessary. And if you don't see your partner doing that, or if you're not doing that, if you don't have ways to protect your soul, to protect your energy, to protect your vibration, not only for the good of yourself, but for the fucking good of all of us out here, then you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And when it comes to that point and it's reflecting back in your relationship, some of y'all motherfuckers let it get so far that you can't come back from that, because now it's embedded into you. And now that trauma has caused you to shift your vibration, and now you're looking for something different. You're redefining your values and morals and love and beauty and all those things once again, because the communication, you just let it fall to shit because your lack of focus and clarity and transparency in who you are right now. Perfection doesn't exist, people. It doesn't exist. We're all just trying to get to know ourselves. That's our job, is to curate self. Because when you're curating yourself and you're good, everything else is just going to fall into place, okay? So if you're in a situation with a partner and they are treating you like shit, or if you are the person treating your partner like shit, it's because that feeling that you have inside for yourself is not in a good space. And if it's not in a good space, it is up to you to address it. It is up to you to address it and to shift it as the person who's in the bad space, or it's up to you to address it and then make a decision. Because a person is only going to do what they want to do. And if you're not ready to switch up your vibration because you've been that shitty partner, or your partner is not ready to switch up their vibration and they've been that shitty partner, then you need to walk away. Walk away. Walk away. Because we cannot sit here and talk about, boo goals, babe goals, squad goals, husband goals, goals, and you can't even be clear with who you are and how you feel and what you want. Because without those lack of clarities, without those specificities, and I don't mean like I want this so specific, everything like this, no, but saying I want security, I want to feel loved, but what does that look like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? What does it touch like? You know what I'm saying? What does it sound like? What do these things look like? And reevaluating that very often, because we're growing every single second, and that is what makes a beautiful unionship. A cohesive unionship, a communicative unionship. You can't just keep fucking and sucking and not expect to communicate about what's going on inside of you. Because either way, it's going to show up. And either way, you're transferring that fucked up energy to your inside your partner. And you, if not, then you're taking that shit in. And then it's going to manifest and reflect in other situations in your life. Like, oh my God, I'm dating him and now I don't talk to my best friend no more. because that person does not feel secure in themselves and they transferred that onto you, and now it's trickling over into your life and you're wondering why your things are falling apart. But then that's also because you're lacking focus and clarity and lacking oneness with self, because you're so into this other person. That's where codependence comes from and clinginess comes from. And that's why your days can get fucked up, your months can get fucked up, and your years can get fucked up because you want to attach yourself to somebody else's happiness. And if you do that, that just like a piece of clothing or an apple or this video, they're going to digest it, they're going to ingest it, use it for what they need, and then discard it or defecate, shit it out. Do you feel me? So you need to be good with yourself. They have to be good with themselves. And this has to be something that has to be present at all times. Because if it's not, then that person is just putting things to the side and they're putting a bunch of shitty ass boxes in your crispy ass closet that you just cleaned out before you even got in the situation with this person. But now you see yourself just, there's motherfucking old ass boxes. I just swear I took these. What? These is your boxes? Get these out of here. And if you're not, and they're not willing to get their boxes out, if they're not willing to chuck them out, throw them out before they even enter this union, or they brought them back, they brought old shit back in from another situation because they let something that triggered them build up on the inside, and they didn't offer it to you to let them know, hey, by the way, this triggered me because I was given this information and therefore I took it with me. I put it in my backpack. It triggered me when I saw this DM because I came out of a situation beforehand where that was a level of mistrust for me. But you know what? I don't want to bring that into this unionship because I realize this is a completely new unionship. And the way that I feel about myself is so good right now. I feel so great and so positive about myself, and I want to treat myself well. And if I want to treat myself well, I know I'm going to treat you well. And I want to treat you well because you know what? I would like some clarity. So can I just sit down with you and ask you a question about this? Because in my past, and I don't want to react the same way that I did in my past with you here now. These are conversations we need to have. Now, trust me, everybody ain't going to be down for it now because I told a guy that earlier this year. I said, you know what? Everything I learned about myself, I'm unlearning. And within that, I'm going to be unraveling, and I'm probably going to be tapping into old behaviors that didn't service me before, and I'm going to be utilizing them in this situation, and I know that's not who I want to be. And I'm just letting you know, and obviously we were smoking and high and stuff like that, but this was something that was really heavy on my heart. This was something that was really, really heavy, and we were having this conversation, and he looked at me, and I thought he understood what I meant, but he understood what I meant, but he definitely wasn't ready because he showcased it to me in that way. He wasn't ready, so he didn't feel prepared. He felt intimidated by the situation. He felt insecure, so therefore the way he treated me was to push me away, was to treat me with respect sometimes and disrespect sometimes, he was fickle. He wasn't stable. He wasn't sure of himself. So therefore it reflected in whatever situation was going on with us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure of myself. I'm sure of where I'm trying to go. I'm sure that old behaviors are going to be flustering up. I'm sure that I'm going to have triggers, but I'm sure that I'm working on them. I'm sure that I want to let you know that because, you have a right to know since we're two consenting adults and we're entering this situation where we're exchanging energy on a regular basis. And I don't want you coming into the situation not knowing what you're receiving. But see, that's a whole nother conversation because a lot of motherfuckers can't even be transparent like that. But you're here at this video right now because you are on your path, if not already there, to being that kind of spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because when traumatic things happen to us, we look for reasons to clarify that. And at the end of the day, the reason is always the same. You can look at any video, you can go to any church, you could talk to any motivational speaker, you could talk to any coach, anything. All of it comes back to self. All of it. And every single video you'll see from me will say, the answers, because you know what? You are your favorite undiscovered superhero. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Go ahead, girl. You ain't got to go, but you got to get the hell up out of here. You ain't got to go, but you got to get the hell up out of